I think the favourite thing about the GT3 is the fact that it's as close as you can be to have a road car that can still take my son to rugby or go on a 2,000 mile drive around Italy, and it does everything so well. My name is Geudon and I drive a Porsche 911 GT3. I think my first memory of a car would go back to kind of Group B rally times. Certainly don't come from a car family, so my father never had anything special. The first Porsche I had was probably best part of 18, 20 years ago, I guess. And then in that time, I've gone through most of the models, working from Cayennes and Panameras and 911s to this one, which we have today. And that is the pinnacle for me. It's what I always wanted to get to one day. So the GT3 is pretty much everything I love about Porsche and the way they race has come into this kind of car for me, and that epitomizes the Porsche brand, and that's why I've always wanted one and finally got that. I guess it's not the most family-orientated car. Having young boys, they absolutely love coming out in the car with me. So if it can be going for a nice blast on a Sunday morning, through to going away with friends within Club Mulholland, where we go on a drive, it just does everything I want it to, all within one package. There's no compromise there for me. This is the 4 litre. It's different to the 3.8 that was in the last generation. This car is very closely derived from the Cup race car, and it's just up on another level. Revs to 9,000. When it starts, you think it's keep going, it goes and goes and goes, and it can't help but bring a smile to your face. It seems to rev forever, but absolutely the most special engine I've ever had in a car for sure. It's absolutely fantastic. With the spec on this one, some people find it amusing how I've spec'd it. It's my car, and it's how I think the GT3 should be. So I have the RSL lights on it, which makes it very individual. Doesn't make them the best headlights in the world, but it looks good and has that kind of race car look. In terms of inside, full Club Sport spec. I've got special seats which are similar to those that were in the 911R. So they have the houndstooth, which has that period look that I like. I delete the stereo as well because I never turn the stereo on, and so there's no need for it to be there. And in terms of colour, I like flat colours. I don't like metallic colours, so I wanted a flat colour that's kind of got a period look. So this is in crayon in the UK, and that colour just looks perfect to me for that kind of car. In terms of driving the car, it just fits. It feels perfect. The seat holds you in the great position. It's well sighted. In terms of the balance of the car, having had the first real chance this year to really drive around the Alps, the way it takes the corners, the way it handles, there's nothing like it. Growing up, I was always more interested in creative side of things rather than any academic. My main ambition was always to kind of be a car designer, and I would look up to kind of any designs, and particularly anything that had elegant lines, sort of period stuff, as opposed to the new stuff of the time. As a creative person, I love the fact that Porsches, particularly the 911, obviously have just continually seem to evolve, and it's like just perfecting it and changing it very slightly. And visually, I love the way they've looked, and the fact that when a new model comes out, it doesn't look drastically different. And to most people, they probably don't see those nuances, but to me, that's just honing and crafting, and the creative in me loves that aspect of it. I started a club called Club Mulholland a few years ago. I have a history of producing some creative books for automotive brands on Dream Drive, so it was a case of just taking that from publishing into a real world environment. And we have a great bunch of guys that come from all over the world, from South Africa to Sweden to the United States and obviously the UK. We organise various different grand tours, and that's my favourite part of it, is to do the drive. So the cars in the club, they get used, and that's kind of the secret. They're cars, they should be driven. So it's a nice way of communicating, because people who have these cars, not everyone uses them the way they should be used. So it gives them an opportunity, that little avenue to take the cars out and have some fun. The Porsche brand to me has become kind of part of my life. Gone through most of the models and the memories that have been created from taking me on track days in Portimao in Portugal to incredible mountain roads in Germany, through to picking up my firstborn child from the hospital, which was probably the most memorable. It was just, they've been part of there, and there's the history of my life, really.